Tonight on the NTV Evening News Hour. A 77-year-old man has died following a pedestrian vehicle collision in St. John's this morning. Police are now investigating. Prime Minister Mark Carney is on the province's west coast visiting Gros Morne National Park to highlight the Canada Strong Pass. The Premier returns from the First Minister's meeting in PEI as negotiations continue with Quebec to reshape the Churchill Falls MOU. And the beloved Newfoundland and Labrador Folk Festival will return this year for one day only, free of charge.
And all eyes on some rain tonight over the Burin Peninsula and Avalon Peninsula as a whole, which does roll through to Saturday morning. But eventually into that Saturday, we're off to the races to a whole bunch of sun and cloud. Full details, full weekend details coming up.
The award-winning NTV Evening News Hour with Tony Marie Wiseman, Michael Connors, and your weather forecast with Ryan Harding.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Well, one person is dead following a pedestrian vehicle collision in St. John's late this morning involving a school bus.
The Royal Newfoundland Constabulary is investigating that fatal collision and is asking any witnesses or bystanders to come forward. The pedestrian vehicle collision happened around 10:30 this morning at the intersection of Allendale Road and Prince Philip Drive. A 77-year-old man was struck by a school bus and died from his injuries. The driver of the bus was cooperative and remained on the scene, and there were no passengers on board the bus at the time of the collision. The driver was uninjured. While the ongoing investigation is not believed to be criminal in nature, the RNC did advise that being a witness to this kind of collision may cause secondary trauma. Anyone requiring mental health support from this incident is encouraged to call 811.
A youth was transported to hospital with life-threatening injuries, and charges have been laid against a 32-year-old man following a vehicle-pedestrian collision in St. John's on Thursday evening. Police responded to the intersection of Thorburn Road and Larkhall Street, where a child had been struck by a vehicle just before 8 p.m. Prior to police arrival, the suspect had fled from the scene. The pedestrian, a 6-year-old boy, was transported to hospital with life-threatening injuries. Thanks to a member of the public, officers located the suspect and arrested the man who failed a roadside screening test. 32-year-old Tyler Day has been charged with impaired driving causing bodily harm, operating over the legal limit, and failing to remain at the scene. The investigation is ongoing, and anyone with information is being asked to contact the RNC.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is spending some time in the Gros Morne area of the province this weekend. Today, he stopped by the National Park's Visitor Centre to meet the staff and to take a walk through. And Carney says he has big plans to hike the beautiful trails this weekend. He briefly spoke with media before departing for his next stop on the West Coast. Here is NTV's Becky Daly.
One of the things we've seen is that visitor numbers have gone up 15% across Canada, 20% across Atlantic Canada. And I've wanted to come to Gros Morne for so long, and now I'm finally here, and tomorrow is Saturday, so I'm going to take advantage of that and have a hike, see the tablelands, see the fjords, see the wildlife. This is a park that is 1,800 square kilometers, national park, 3 times the size of Toronto. A lot of diversity here, a lot of things that Toronto doesn't have. Toronto has many things, but Gros Morne has many others, including the geological formation, the tablelands, which proved plate tectonics. I can't even say it, plate tectonics. So absolutely unique, plus the highest density of moose in Canada. 3 moose per square kilometer, that's what I'm told. Arctic hares, lots of flora and fauna, and just great people. Unfortunately, if you want to camp here, you're going to have to wait till next year because all the campsites are taken up, but there's plenty of room on the hiking trails, and welcome, whether it's Gros Morne, whether it's Jasper National Park, whether it is in Cape Breton, whether anywhere in this country. Visit Canada, enjoy Canada. Profitez-vous. Merci beaucoup. Have a great weekend. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have fun.
I will. I know. I'm very excited.
The Prime Minister also surprised tourists visiting the area this morning and staff who too shared their insights and suggestions for the Prime Minister while he's in the region.
Great opportunity. It was quite exciting to know that you were going to meet the Prime Minister and that he took the time out of his schedule to kind of come meet with all of us, shake all of our hands and get to know what we do.
Did he catch you off guard in any way?
Oh, definitely. I was really surprised how much time he took to enter the building. He was stopping and talking to everyone, and he was speaking to all the tourists. It was really nice. He's a really good human being. It's really good. He's a nice guy, and a nice guy.
Certainly did not expect to see the Prime Minister. It was a pretty unique experience, that's for sure. Are you from this province? Actually from Alberta, Lloydminster. Borders. Canada's only border city. And what brought you to Newfoundland and Labrador? We actually have family here, so we're visiting family in the area. We have family in Rocky Harbour and Deer Lake, and yeah, all the area. We're fortunate to have family to live here. And as you're sightseeing around this area, you know, seeing the Prime Minister, how are you feeling today?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw that you had an opportunity to speak to him. You know, what did you say to him?
I said that I like swimming and that I live in Lloydminster.
And is this your first time actually seeing the Prime Minister, not on television?
It is, yeah, and it was super nice to meet him. He was so sweet, genuine. It's pretty cool.
Premier Tony Wakeham was in Prince Edward Island this week for the annual Council of the Federation meeting where Canada's premiers gathered before meeting with Prime Minister Mark Carney. NTV's Mary-Kate O'Neill has more on what came out of those meetings.
Well, I think it was a very productive week.
Premier Tony Wakeham returned from PEI today following the annual summer meeting of Canada's premiers and the first ministers' meeting with the Prime Minister.
We talked about a lot of different subjects that matter across the people across the country. And when you think about cost of living, healthcare, all of the issues and the opportunities ahead of us, and of course there was the talk about tariffs as well.
A lot of important topics came to the table during this week's meetings, and it was a time for Premier Wakeham to bring up some issues that hit close to home, like current healthcare challenges felt across the province.
For me, it was important to make sure that they understand that it's about retention and recruitment of all these health professionals. It's about looking at our staffing models. It's about looking at the opportunities for make sure our professionals are working to their full extent possible. The Prime Minister agreed with that. And what we've agreed to do now is have our health ministers and our finance ministers get together and talk about what future funding of healthcare should look like.
As negotiations continue with Quebec over a possible Churchill Falls deal, Wakeham says he won't be held to any deadlines.
Right now, there's still work to be done. And so our teams are at the table, and they're doing that work, and they're making progress.
Premier Wakeham says his team is fighting for the best possible deal for Newfoundland and Labrador.
We, as you know, ordered an independent review of a previous MOU, and we've got a report that gave us a series of recommendations, and we've been using that as the framework for our negotiations. So when we talk about the need for more power and more transmission and more value, those are the key pillars, and that's what our negotiating team's been focused on.
Another topic of conversation was national defense, as that's a big investment right now for the federal government.
They recognize the opportunity that Newfoundland and Labrador can play in this defense strategy for the country, and that's what we've talked about. It's not about the federal government turning around and saying, oh, we got to give Newfoundland and Labrador a piece of the action for all intents and purposes. We have what they need. You know, we have the physical location, the strategic location, we have the workers, and we have the infrastructure. And I think there's a recognition there by the federal government that, yes, you do.
Mary-Kate O'Neill, NTV News.
Well, Corner Brook Pulp and Paper is changing the way they make newsprint and are switching to using wood chips. Their logs will be shipped to the province's 3 major sawmills, but one sawmill in central Newfoundland says the company is not making good on its promise, and now Cottles Island Lumber is in danger of having to close its doors after nearly 60 years. NTV's Colleen Lewis has more.
Cottles Island Lumber has been a family business run by the Philpotts for nearly 60 years. But today, the owner is fighting for survival, and the logs promised by Corner Brook Pulp and Paper haven't been showing up.
And we were told by Corner Brook Pulp and Paper, a commitment made by Corner Brook Pulp and Paper, that they would supply us with 900 cubic meters of wood a week. Up to today, we have only been supplied with 1,350 cubic meters of wood.
The sawmill provides around 100 direct jobs year-round with some value-added products. Some employees have been here as long as 40 years.
Boy, should the big companies get it all and the small companies get none.
The government has the
we got to nail up, further up, Bloomfields. They're going to go up to 100 million feet a year, from 60 to 100, right? And we can't get enough logs to get to 10 million a year. So something got to give, or this area is going to be all out of work.
I've lost over half my workforce, and I'm fighting to keep the workforce that I have. But these are false commitments made on Corner Brook Pulp and Paper's behalf.
The owners of Corner Brook Pulp and Paper recently announced a $700 million investment, including a wind farm and hydro generation. They promised good news for the province's major sawmills, including Burton's Cove Logging on the west coast and Sexton's Lumber in the east. Lori Philpott says while those two mills continue to operate, work here is nearly at a standstill.
We are in serious danger of closing.
In a written statement, Corner Brook Pulp and Paper says they will not comment publicly on commercial arrangements involving suppliers. Lori Philpott says without a commitment to local employers, they shouldn't receive government's financial support.
Corner Brook says what's good for them is good for the sawmilling industry. I'm here to tell you that is not correct. We are being shut out. We feel like we're being squeezed out of our rural Newfoundland area that we've been employed here for 57 years.
And the owner says her wish list here includes a meeting with the minister. But more than anything, she'd like to see a yard full of logs. For NTV News, I'm Colleen Lewis at Cottles Island Lumber.
Canadian and U.S. markets end the trading week on a mixed note today. Let's get right to it. So the TSX was up today by 176 points, closing at 35,369, whereas Venture was down, lost 5 points to 869. The Dow was up today, 236 points, closing at 51,947. NASDAQ dropped 162 points to 24,976. Gold was up today, $3.80 an ounce, closing at $4,053.28 U.S., of course, per ounce. Brent crude saw a drop of $3.16 per barrel, closing at $97.53 U.S. The Canadian dollar saw a slight drop today of 0.09 of a cent to 70.91 cents. Fortis increased 50 cents a share today to $83.03. Labrador iron ore also saw an increase of 13 cents a share to $25.93, whereas Altius lost 14 cents per share, closing at $58.31.
Tonight's weather brought to you by GMC's employee pricing for you. Get up to a $16,240 cash purchase credit today on a 2026 GMC Sierra Denali Ultimate.
Well, Tony, Maria, it's even warm in our studios today, but we just had some more air conditioning turned on in here.
We did. I don't know if you could, we're actually a little shiny because it is very warm here tonight. It was warm. I didn't sleep very well. How about you last night?
No, not me either. No.
You're here and I'm going to do it anyway. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Those of you who don't know, of course, Beth Penny and Ben Cleary got married a couple of weekends
Oh,
ago.
it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And I know Ben was on with you and
Yes.
talked about watching the hourly forecast, which was so true. We were thinking about renting a tent for you guys so our members and our friends and family didn't get wet. But then I was glad we didn't have to use it because there was just such nice sun and stuff walking down the aisle. So thanks so much for all your guys' support. It's been so fun.
It was wonderful. It was the party of the year for sure, and we all enjoyed it. And I think everyone watching, was really tickled to see that you guys got married as well. Someone else is going to be tickled, Ryan Hardy, is the Prime Minister. He's going to have some pretty good weather tomorrow, is he?
Unreal, yeah. We're rolling out the metaphorical red carpet in terms of the weather. It takes a little bit longer for the eastern side to get there tomorrow, but we will. Plenty of sun on the docket, but for the west coast, yeah, gorgeous day ahead. We've lost the humidity there already. We're going to lose it on the eastern side, but the cost comes with some cloud and some rain. There's a bit of a cold front moving in, so we're going to see that base temperature of 23 drop into this evening, but that feels like temperature is going to drop as well, and more so mirror what we see on those base temperatures. The wind, lightning as well, so everything coming down, including that rain, which we'll get into in just a second. But first, we'll take a look at, well, Corner Brook, where are you? It's 21 degrees in Corner Brook. Just happened to see that on the way in, actually. Luckily, it's matched on the Bayvert Peninsula and in Gander. We gain one in Badger, lose it. Daniels Harbour through to St. Anthony, 16 and 18. Pick it back up in Cartwright at 24. Into Makovic, a couple warm days ahead for Happy Valley Goose Bay to the coastline. We'll get more on that in just a moment. But first, yeah, if you're in St. John's, all eyes on the concert tonight. It looks as though, Mr. Urban, we're going to throw a poncho on you. So we talked about it last night, the chance of that rain coming through, and it looks like it is going to be that way. Blue ain't your color anyway, Keith Urban. Looks like yellow looks pretty good. Bring the slickers if you're heading down a little bit later, and we'll show that the rain is on its way here shortly in the next hour or so, lightly. That's the first wave, and last night we talked about there being two waves, a lighter one and then a heavier one, which looks to really form in and around that 9 p.m. mark. So as this rain has a cold front coming through, and we know we had some real warm temperatures before that, we also know there's a lot of moisture in the air. So what do you need for thunder and lightning? You need a cold to meet a warm with moisture. Easy math, simple math, we apply it, and we can see the opportunity traveling across CBN specifically, and then just a little bit east of the southern portion of the Avalon a little bit later. And now as we take a look at the island as a whole, we're going to see things open up on the west side, or remain open really, as that rain passes over and brushes the Burin Peninsula as well. We can see that rain comes in once more through the overnight into Saturday morning. Meanwhile, finally, that southwest wind changing. If nothing else, to have something different to talk about, we will get a west wind through central. That's going to push the clouds clear. And once we get through the next 5 millimeters of rain or so Saturday morning, it looks like we have some sun and cloud following thereafter. It's going to start with a little extra cloud, specifically further inland on the Avalon. I mean, look at that. Wide open skies and just that one clump of cloud. Hey, and a little hanging on for Trepassey for some light rain as well. Likely to have some fog in that too, Trepassey, because you're still getting some south wind while we do see that west wind take over the mainland of the island. In terms of St. John's, though, look at this. Wheels for Wishes. It's Saturday. It's on Kelsey Drive 141 from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. There's a whole lot of cool cars going to be down there, from hot rods to classics, and it's all for a good cause. We're going to learn more about it in your community coming up with Sharon Snow a little bit later, so stay tuned. But we use it to show that in that time from the morning to the afternoon, we're going to get rid of the rain, get rid of the cloud, and start to see that sun coming out. We'll see some of those wheels shine in Kelsey Drive. So again, coming up a little bit later, we'll learn more about this. But if you want to see some cool cars in the metro region, head on down Saturdays. In terms of the temperatures tonight, yeah, still a pretty warm night, all things considered, although Grand Falls Windsor did briefly drop below that 10-degree mark, only to jump right back up to 15 by the 8 a.m. mark. And then we're off to the races for some of those daytime highs. We are again losing that humidity, so a lot of these numbers are going to feel just like that. So if humidity is not your thing, you made it. Well done. But we are noticing that Happy Valley Goose Bay is going to get up close to, if not up and beyond, that 30-degree mark. If not Saturday, then likely Sunday and into Monday. It does start with some light rain here this evening in Happy Valley Goose Bay through Churchill Falls as well. That exits out through Cartwright. We do have some midnight rain approaching to Nain, a millimeter or two. Not much to it, and there's not much to it Saturday through to Sunday either. Look at this, opens up wide, a lovely start Saturday morning, a southwest wind fueling that warm up. The only little blip on the radar, some extra cloud on the coastline, and then that does bring in some light rain once again to Nain at 18 degrees. That's going to be enough to keep them off what we're going to show you in just a second. We do have some light rain entering in the supper hour at Labrador City, but it looks to stay there, and other than that, it is sun and cloud. So Nain not in that that heat alert, but Churchill Falls, Happy Valley, Goose Bay, Makkovik through to Cartwright, down into Mary's Harbor. We'll leave Red Bay out of this one, but it looks like, again, on the back end of the Saturday into Sunday and Monday, the temperatures have the potential to hit that 30-degree mark. And you can see the North Coast getting close, but not quite there like we're seeing in Happy Valley, Goose Bay, and not quite there for Labrador City as well. The only other thing to note is the southern side there on Monday, some fog returning, and it looks like it comes with some Sunday night rain for the eastern side into Monday, and we'll pick up there the next time we get together. Beth, Tony Marie.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. A Newfoundland and Labrador nurse has been found guilty of professional misconduct after taking a photo of a vulnerable patient and sending it to a colleague along with inappropriate text messages. The complaint against Trina Noble stemmed from an incident at the Bayvert Peninsula Healthcare Centre in October of 2021 while she was employed by Central Health. Her nursing license has been suspended for 6 months. She must pay $4,000 towards the college's investigation costs, complete ethics and professionalism training before returning to practice, and will be monitored by the college for 6 months if she does resume working as a licensed practical nurse.
The provincial government is responding to the concerns many families across the province, increasing coverage for children with a cleft lip and or palate. Government will now cover the initial assessment fee. The cap per treatment will also be increased, and government will now cover up to 5 treatments.
The initial assessment now is going to be covered 100%, and this, I think that's around $120. Also, too, is the per treatment cap is we're increasing it by about $1,000. So the initial cap per treatment was about $5,500. That's being expanded now to about $6,600, and so that's a huge help to families. The overall lifetime cap is increased up to $33,000, and also they will be retroactive to certain dates. The initial fee, I think, is retroactive to October 1st, 2025. The per treatment cap that's being expanded by $1,000, I think that's retroactive to April 1st, 2026. And the lifetime cap, I think that's retroactive to January 1st, 2025. But people don't have to worry because the provincial dental consultant is going to be reviewing the files and contacting families if they're eligible. And families also can kind of contact the provincial dental consultant if they have any questions about eligibility. So people will be covered. We'll make sure that, in the retroactive, that will be addressed as well. So people, families shouldn't have to worry.
The Newfoundland and Labrador Folk Festival is returning for one day in August. As NTV's Andrew Connors tells us, organizers are crediting the community with saving the event.
After doubts it would ever return, the Newfoundland and Labrador Folk Festival is back. Being coined as its 49th and a half edition, this year's festival will be a smaller event, focusing on rebuilding the organization, stabilizing its finances, and looking ahead to its 50th anniversary celebration next year.
Well, this technically would be our 50th Folk Festival, but because of the manner in which we kind of came on board, it was very late in the year. We didn't have time to really organize a proper folk festival.
I don't sort of consider it a half festival.
No.
Like, this is going to be brilliant. It's going to be every bit as special as any other folk festival. But as Jean said, we're going to give the 50th, and it's just another number, the proper bigger display.
Jean Houston is the interim president for the annual Folk Fest, and she says the community saved the festival. She also credits their help during the festival's fundraiser as a huge reason why they could pay off their debts.
It's meant everything. The community saved the Folk Festival, really. It was having a lot of problems for the last couple of years. And when we initiated the fundraiser, people got right on board.
The festival itself will take place all in one day with free admission for anyone who would like to attend. Attendees can expect a blend of regular festival performers as well as some up-and-coming talent. Houston says the festival is important for cultivating opportunities for local artists and that a lot of the festival's history is rooted in supporting local talent.
For many years, it's been a place that has cultivated performance opportunities for local artists. It's a very visible event, and pretty much for many years it was kind of devoted mostly to local artists.
The 49th and a half Newfoundland and Labrador Folk Festival will take place August 8th from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Admission is free for everyone who wishes to attend. Andrew Connors, NTV News.
And the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary is once again promoting personal safety ahead of another weekend of concerts. The RNC is encouraging residents to practice personal safety as many people will be attending shows and events again this weekend. Police suggest using a buddy system when attending these larger events. Those attending with children should consider having your child wear bright color clothing and ensure your children know their names and telephone numbers. There will be an increased police presence at upcoming music festivals throughout the summer. Still ahead on the NTV Evening News Hour. In your community, Wheels for Wishes is taking place in St. John's on Saturday, a major car show and fundraiser for children living with cancer. And when we return on the Inside Story, Newfoundland and Labrador is still at the negotiating table with Quebec when it comes to reaching a deal on Churchill Falls. This is the NTV Evening News Hour. Welcome back to the NTV Evening News Hour. Tonight on the Inside Story, we hear more from Premier Tony Wakeham, who says Newfoundland and Labrador is still at the negotiating table with Quebec when it comes to reaching a deal on Churchill Falls.
Well, you know, the Premier of Quebec has her opinion on it. For me, I'm a little more conservative. I want to make sure that we have the best deal possible for the people of Newfoundland and Labrador. We, as you know, ordered an independent review of a previous MOU, and we've got a report that gave us a series of recommendations, and we've been using that as the framework for our negotiations. So when we talk about the need for more power and more transmission and more value, those are the key pillars, and that's what our negotiating team's been focused on. And when we get to a stage where we feel that we've accomplished that, we'll certainly be able to tell people about it. Well, I'm not saying that we're not weeks away, but what I'm suggesting is that right now there's still work to be done. And so our teams are at the table, and they're doing that work, and they're making progress. No, not at all. Pardon? Oh, I didn't bring it up at the table. I just said we didn't talk about it. Again, I'm not going to be held to any deadlines. As I have said repeatedly, this is about getting the best deal possible for Newfoundland and Labrador, no matter how long that takes.
Canada held a subdued celebration today to mark the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge. Canadian officials from all three levels of government attended the event in Windsor, but there were no U.S. representatives, highlighting the tensions over tariffs. Here is CTV's Adrian Gabriel.
A ribbon cutting a quarter century in the making.
Behind us stands one of the most significant infrastructure achievements in Canada's history.
Billed as a towering beacon of trade and prosperity, the Gordie Howe Bridge spans 2.5 kilometers. It cost Canadian taxpayers $6.4 billion, and it took more than 20 million hours of labor. As the sun shined down on today's proceedings, clouds of controversy swirled.
We prepare to welcome first crossings on Monday.
Okay. While literally bridging two nations, only one anthem was sung on this day.
And President Trump has threatened new tariffs just this month. But Team Canada has never been more united.
The glad handing scheduled between Canadian and U.S. government officials, originally planned, put on ice amid a renewed tariff dispute.
We all know who that person might be if we were going to check, if Gordie was going to check one person into the board.
President Trump posting on his Truth Social account today that Canada disinvited the U.S. to the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge, which is fine, considering that they are paying substantial tariffs to the U.S., but the original deal on the bridge, which was terribly negotiated by a previous administration, no longer stands, though the original deal was between Canada and the state of Michigan.
These agreements are in place.
group of kids broke the ice with a game of road hockey on the bridge, even though some of the sticks in hand have been slapped with a 50% tariff by the Trump administration. The focus on this day was also on the bridge's namesake, one of Canada's greatest sporting exports to the U.S.
He wouldn't be happy with the tensions that are going on.
Your father was a fiercely proud Canadian. What message would he have for the current trade turmoil between the U.S. and Canada?
Get together, have some common sense, work it out.
While 30-plus members of the Howe family deservedly soaked in the occasion, on this day, fault lines in the cross-border connection, forged in Canadian and American steel, have emerged. Even with a clear road ahead, the future path for this trade route, now spanning troubled waters, remains murky.
The contentious crossing is finally scheduled to open to cross-border vehicle and pedestrian traffic this coming Monday. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Windsor, Ontario.
Tonight's weather brought to you by Come From Away Gander. 25 years ago, the skies closed on 9/11. This is the story of the town that opened its doors.
How are you? Happy Friday to you. Help tell the tale for the rest of the country. We're going to look over to the western side, part of Saskatchewan, South Alberta, and it looks like the mountain side of British Columbia. All yellow, that is air quality alert on the board. So some smoky conditions out there, but if you take a look, there's not a whole lot else going on in the country, and we can see that by all the sun and cloud icons there. Looks like a little light rain south of Winnipeg, heading into northern Ontario, and outside of that, a whole lot of sun at Fort McMurray at 26 degrees. 29 in Calgary, where one of those alerts were. We took a look yesterday. We'll give you an updated photo just for the sake of it here today, where you can see, a little bit of haze off in the background there. And it just so happens that this is the picture that I found. Didn't mean anything by it, but I lived in that building right there for a bit. For curious minds, probably none. Why would there be? But we take a look and see 27 sun and cloud in Montreal. We drop down a few in Halifax and the PEI region, which is pretty on par with the temperature in St. John's and Labrador City and Nain. Bingo, bango, 19 sun and cloud for all. All right, we didn't go over any photos early on, did we? Let's do it now. We're going to the south coast of Labrador. We checked in here not too long ago and learned about the UNESCO Heritage Site for the whaling community of Red Bay. There's fog here too. I'll tell you, anywhere there's ocean, there's fog. Chris showing us that, so thank you, Chris. We move down where Kathy reminded us after all that rain on the southwest coast, the sun still shines and sets beautifully. So thank you, Kathy. Now, Harbour Breton, how are you? Good to see you. You know what this is? It's that time of year. We only got about 2 weeks now. They're ripening up. In about 2 weeks' time, we got again. Anyone else grow up with just bake apples and other types of berries framed in the house? Just pictures of berries? I loved it. Anyway, it was in my household. We'll move further north. We are going to east of Leading Tickles, south of Flurry Bight. You find Morse Cove, where Tina's showing us, a little extra cloud there today. And it was about 23, feeling like 28 at its warmest in Moores Cove today. Not bad at all. Harbour, Maine, Chapels Cove, Lakeview, Chapels Cove in particular. Phoebe showing us a little bit of fog on the water to match those gray skies that we had kicking around. But still pretty bright, wasn't it, Phoebe? We'll take it. All in all, we take a look. Shea Heights, I'm about to give up on your camera down there, because every time I go to show you and say, what are you at, Shea Heights, we get a big old white screen. I'm sure it'll pop up. I'll give you some time. We're going to show some white down in Trepassey, too, in the form of some fog. There we go, Shea Heights. You heard me. How are you? Happy Friday to you. That cloud parting as we watch it in Grand Falls, Windsor. The sun shining through at the end there in Corner Brook, setting the tail of the tape for the weekend of nothing but sun for that west coast. But Trepassey, going to be a little bit of fog hanging through here now the next 15 hours or so. Up into Labrador, Churchill Falls, a little bit of cloud opens up here and there in Happy Valley Goose Bay. The last time we got together, we talked about some coastal fog cloud in Labrador, Rigolette showing that, but opening wide down in Chateau Pond for a lovely evening. So once we get through that rain tonight and into tomorrow morning for the Avalon, again, we're in that 10 millimeter range on average. There's not a whole lot to talk about. We can see wide open skies on the island into Labrador. Some moments into the evening tomorrow night of some very light rain in Labrador City, but it's quick. I tell you, there's not a whole lot to it, and there's not a whole lot to it beyond that into the Sunday. What we are going to start to see, though, is some of the winds shift around a little bit. I see a north wind down here. We'll keep that in mind as we go into the 5-day. And then a little bit later into Sunday for the Avalon, we're going to see a southeast wind. That's off a low pressure system that's passing by and making its way in. So it's not showing up Sunday night, but a southeast wind, once that sun goes down, probably means some fog on the eastern side. And then we'll keep our eye on that rain there for the 5-day. Yeah, it comes in, and there's that fog too on Sunday, likely in the night, raining through Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. So that's what we got to look forward to, some cooler temperatures as well. We take a look at the south coast. We'll enjoy the Saturday and Sunday before it clouds over on the Monday. And it looks like it takes until the Tuesday, lasting through to the Wednesday for that rain to reach this region. It looks all clear up in central Saturday, Sunday, Monday. A little extra cloud on the Tuesday. And we'll have our eye on Wednesday in terms of any precipitation. Temperature dropping from 29 down to 21 over the next 5 days. A little more even keel on the west coast. Maybe it's not even fair to say that. It does drop down to 22. But Tuesday with some rain there at 24 degrees. Lovely Saturday. Nothing but sun for the northern peninsula at 22 degrees, which is matched on the Sunday. A little extra cloud on the Monday, and we'll go down to 18. Furthermore, on Tuesday and Wednesday, 15 and 14, and we'll mix in some dampness with that. All clear south coast of Labrador. So this is where the heat warning is coming to play for the south coast. The Sunday and Monday at 30 degrees before 28 and 25. Tuesday and Wednesday, not quite that top dollar in terms of a temperature in the north coast, so not quite making it into that heat warning. 12 and 14 degrees in the evening sounds lovely, and a little bit of rain on the Wednesday to rinse off. Happy Valley Goose Bay, there it is, 32. That's the heat warning in place for Sunday and Monday. Sun and cloud Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 days of sun and cloud. And then we'll rinse off Tuesday, Wednesday in Labrador West as well. After 27, 26, 24, we'll go down to 22 and 19. See you soon.
And we're going to take a break on the NTV Evening News Hour, but do stay with us. When we come back, Sharon Snow is going to take us down to Portagrave. We'll tell you why next.
Welcome back to the NTV Evening News Hour. Well, tonight on Places to Go, Sharon Snow heads to the Portagrave Peninsula and the Canon Richards Tea Room.
Tonight on our Places to Go, we are visiting the Portagrave Peninsula, and we're here at the Canon Richards Tea Room. I'm joined by Karen Morse. She's on the board for the Portagrave Peninsula Heritage Society. So lovely to be out here on this gorgeous summer's day.
It is, and it's great having you back here. You're usually here in December month when it's freezing cold.
Yes, indeed, for the boat lighting, which we all enjoy so much. So there's a lot happening at the Canon Richards Tea Room. Give us a little bit of history, Karen, of this beautiful place.
Okay, you're certainly right. There is a lot happening. This building itself is 114 years old, built back in 1912. And it became a one-room, multi-grade, from kindergarten to grade 11. One-room school.
And now tell me about its namesake, Canon Richards.
Okay, so Canon Richards was an Anglican minister, and he was also the rector of the Portagrave Parish here on the peninsula, and served in this church right here behind us. So we thought it was fitting to call the tea room the Canon Richards Tea Room because of his history here with us.
Oh, lovely. Well, let's go inside and take a look, shall we?
Absolutely. Yes, Sharon, we acquired it from the parish, and the ownership of both of these properties was transferred to the Portagrave Heritage Society, which we are so thankful for.
Now, you've got a lot of things happening all week, Wednesday through Sunday, here in this space. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so from Wednesday to Saturday, we're open 9:30 to 3:30. During that time, we serve an array of traditional Newfoundland food, delicious homemade food. We have a chef Viviana and a cook Pearl, and they are just awesome cooks. Wednesdays, it's a flight of soups. You get all different soups on a board. On Friday, it's Fish Friday, of course, and then on Saturday, the traditional pea soup and dumplings.
I love that.
But Sunday's our special day. So Sunday from noon to 2 p.m., we serve the traditional jigs, but it's the turkey jigs dinner.
Right.
So you get your salt meat and you get your turkey. You have to call at least by the end of Monday. We're already booked up today, being Monday for the Sunday coming.
All of this great food, but also you offer picnics. Tell me about that.
Oh, yes, we do offer picnics. So it's a bread box. It's a replica of the fisherman's lunch box that they took away out in their boat years ago. It's just wooden with a rope. You get a sandwich, you get a piece of fruit, you get a homemade dessert and a beverage. And off you go anywhere on our peninsula. There's many beaches, coves. There's, of course, the lighthouse right down at the furthest end. Vern Pettin designed these stairs.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. It's been great.
Yes, it was great having you.
Well, whether you want to grab a picnic to go, or you want to come out for a flight of soup, or you would like to have fish on Friday, or the famous turkey jigs dinner on Sunday, you can do all of that right here in the Portagrave Peninsula Canon Richards Tea Room, and it is a lovely place to go.
Calling all car enthusiasts tonight in your community, Sharon Snow tells us about the 7th annual Wheels for Wishes event in support of candlelighters.
Tonight in your community, we are here at Bristol Court on Kelsey Drive in St. John's to tell you all about a car show. If you are a car or speed enthusiast, tomorrow you're going to want to be right here. Joining me is Leon, and it's Wheels for Wishes time. We have been doing this. You've been doing this a lot of years. You're giving back to the community. You obviously have a passion for all of these amazing cars. Tell us what time things are getting underway tomorrow.
The show officially starts at 10 o'clock. It runs 10 to 4. It's free for spectators to come. People who bring an automobile or a motorcycle, there's a $20 registration. 100% of the proceeds will go to children's charities in Newfoundland and Labrador. This year it's Candlelighters Newfoundland. And you'll see everything. You'll see Porsches, you'll see supercars, you'll see hot rods, you'll see antique cars, and you'll see some really fast sleds and motorcycles that race out at Eastbound Speedway.
In total, how many will usually show up here on this lot? And they are literally surrounding this building.
So last year we saw 600 cars come. The lot's live, so people can come. They spend an hour or two, and then when they pull out, someone comes in. We're hoping to break the 600 this year, and we keep our count with stickers. So when you register, you get a sticker that shows that you're a part of community kindness. You put it in your window, and then you'll park probably next to someone who has 7 or 8 stickers in their window.
Oh, just incredible. You obviously have a passion for all of this, but also giving back to the community. And you all met through just a love of cars and being a part of this, and look what this has come to. It has grown to.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, the original Wheels for Wishes cruise changed a little bit, but none of us had known each other prior to this. And once you start, people want to do good things, and the automotive community, for the most part, is really good. So people love coming out. We're pretty fortunate that to have play toys. They're not our daily drivers, as we call them. So it's nice to give back to the community with that.
And this is going ahead, rain or shine.
Rain or shine. If you have a child who's suffering with childhood cancer, you don't pay attention to the weather, so we're not going to pay attention to the weather. We're just going to go, and if Ryan would be really kind and pull a few strings, maybe he could make the weather a little bit better for us earlier in the day.
Well, I'm sure he's going to do his very best.
I certainly hope so.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Well, that's what's happening right here. It's very exciting, and it's happening at Bristol Court on Kelsey Drive in St. John's. It's happening in your community. For NTV News, I'm Sharon Snow.
An award-winning streaming series is coming to an end. CNN's David Daniel has that and more in our Hollywood Minute.
It sounds like the drama at the network is juicier than the drama on the network.
Fans of The Morning Show will get one more round of juicy drama. Apple TV has announced the 5th and final season of the show, starring Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon, will debut in 2027.
You ready to see
From Tony-winning stage smash to a movie version in theaters for 5 nights only. But Broadway's original Hades, Patrick Page, says he has another medium in mind for the story.
I always thought from the beginning that it cried out for some kind of animated treatment. And I still do. I still think it would be an extraordinary piece for an animator.
Well, it's time for our final break here on the NTV Evening News Hour, but do stay with us. When we return, we'll have a detailed look, or a quick look, I should say, at your weather forecast. back to the NTV Evening News Hour. Well, it's time now to take a look at our question of the week. In this week's MQO question of the week, we ask, do you think government is doing enough to keep communities clean and safe for residents and tourists alike this summer? To vote, call 1-855-279-7887 or go online at ntv.ca/QOW. We will have the results on Monday.
Birthdays and anniversaries brought to you by the Healthcare Foundation. We are the foundation that takes action so we all can take care of each other.
We're going to begin, first of all, with this beautiful photo. This is a photo of George and Edna Freak. They live in Lewisport, and they are celebrating a 71st wedding anniversary. Just remarkable. Congratulations to you both. Happy 50th anniversary to this beautiful couple. You're looking at a gorgeous old photo of Kevin and Marilyn McGraw. Congratulations to you both. Gerald and Irene Hart celebrating their 56th wedding anniversary. They live in Fogo Island. Gertrude Carroll of Conch celebrating a 90th birthday. She's just moved into Heritage Square. Loretta and Jerome Terry of Mount Pearl celebrating a 50th anniversary. Happy 50th anniversary as well to Anthony and Elsie Morrissey of North River. Calvin and Linda Reed of Dildo celebrating a 57th anniversary. Happy 50th anniversary to Ed and Marg St. Croix. Iris Stoyles of Glenwood is currently living at Lakeside in Gander, celebrating a 92nd birthday. Congratulations to you. Happy 63rd wedding anniversary to Majors William and Marcella Hopkins. Congratulations. Margaret Rickert, residing at Bishop's Gardens in St. John's, is celebrating a 95th birthday. Happy 92nd birthday to Arthur Bath in Lassie. Melvin and Patricia Boone of Belle Island are celebrating a 50th anniversary. Happy 50th anniversary as well to Howard and Rose Marie Gallant from Three Rock Cove. Happy 92nd birthday to Doris Parsons in St. John's. Melvin and Pauline Feltham celebrating their 51st wedding anniversary. Happy 56th anniversary going out to Ron and Mabel Coles. Herb and Lorraine King celebrating a big 52nd wedding anniversary. Great photo. Happy 60th wedding anniversary to Joseph and Elizabeth Hiscock of Burgeo. I love these photos. I think everybody loves these old photos. They're just gorgeous. Happy 63rd wedding anniversary going out to Evelyn and John Rue of Lourdes. Absalom Tucker is celebrating a 96th birthday at the Masonic Park in Mount Pearl. Happy 56th wedding anniversary to Gloria and Jim Roy. Lewis Woodford of Harbor, Maine and Gander, now living in St. John's though, is celebrating a 90th birthday. Happy 90th birthday to Mary Sharp. Happy 90th birthday to Minnie Tucker from St. Lunaire, now living at Shirley's Haven in St. Anthony. Doug and Barbara Power, Freshwater, Placentia Bay, celebrating a 61st anniversary. Gorgeous dress there, hey? Happy 63rd anniversary to Pearl and Joe Kiley from St. Mary's Bay. Ray and Bernadette Bartlett celebrating their gorgeous 50th wedding anniversary. Happy 59th anniversary to George and Blanche Plank of Buren. Happy 56th anniversary going out to Gerald and Barbara Fowler of Kelligrews. Ed and Maxine Higdon of New Harbour celebrating a 56th wedding anniversary. Happy 55th anniversary to Bridget and Jerome Bowen. Bruce and Goldie Baker in Carbonear celebrating a 50th wedding anniversary. Happy 52nd anniversary to Gerald and Sharon Crickert of Topsail. Happy 90th birthday to Bessie Ward, living in Point Leamington. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Evelyn and Tony Gale, married in Pollard's Point. They now live in London, Ontario. Happy 50th anniversary to Wade and Beverly Burt. Ina and Bruce Lidstone are celebrating a 50th wedding anniversary. Happy 90th birthday To Myrtle Genge Anderson, originally from Glovertown, now living in St. John's. Happy 92nd birthday to Catherine Burns of Harbour Mill, now living at Chancellor Park. Seymour Guy is celebrating a 90th birthday. Happy 62nd wedding anniversary to Raymond and Annie Noseworthy. Barbara and Gary King are celebrating their 50th anniversary in Pasadena. Great place to do it. And happy 56th wedding anniversary this evening to Jim and Gloria Roy.
Made it to another weekend. Congratulations. Good opportunity to take a quick peek at that fire hazard update. There are some changes. We are in very high here, so a fire ban back in place. Cartwright is in that. Rigolette is not. We still have that on the Kittiwake coast of Fogo Island. And we have some increased of high parts of central and northern peninsula and in St. John's. That rain tonight should help on the Avalon, but as we saw on that weekend forecast, not much here or into the south coast of Labrador on the way in terms of rain. So might be something worthwhile keeping an eye on throughout the weekend, and make sure we're following along, abiding by the rules, because these things do change for the better and for the worse. 24-hour periods. Every day we look at this, it looks a little bit different there. Beth and Tony Marie.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Ryan. Have a great weekend. And thanks to all of you for joining us tonight on the NTV Evening News Hour, and have a great weekend as well.
Coming up next on Global National, more on the official opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge. Good night.
Good night.